Right, let's see. Testing 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I think I'm using a different mic, and I'm probably better now than I was in my previous streams. I'm just testing my network before I actually start. Okay, yeah, there you go. Everything good to go, man. Let's go. Okay, so this is actually a video request from one of my friends, and I said, okay, why not? I'll make a video instead so that it could be helpful to other people. And yes, this is an art fundamental guide. Something that I don't know if I should be teaching it, but like, I'll just explain what I do and how I approach like simple, like you could say a lesson for Dummies Way, something which is easy. So most people know perspectives, that there is like 1 point perspective, right? There is 2 point perspective, right? You got these, you got a bunch of these. I'm making this video really short and really quick because I really don't want to spend a lot of time. And I'm too lazy to edit videos. That's the reason why I'm on a live stream instead. Lazy and cheeky. That's basically my motto. Anyways, so we got this. We got 2 points. This is 1 point. This is 2 point. And you got 3 point, which is just a combination of the two. I mean, I could do it like this, right? This is part of 3 point perspective. So you got point 1, point 2 on each end. 0.3 could be like either in the center or it could be on the top, and then I can make it something like this. Right? So that's 3 point perspective right there. So you got these three, right? Which most of the time you will understand people are explaining you how to do this, and they'll be like, oh yeah, this is how you make things, and then you take this 3 point perspective, like I'll take a piece of this 3 point perspective, something like this, and then you can make a box around it, and that's how you'll be learning how to create your artwork. Or if it's like if I take another part of that, like maybe I take the upper half and then I can make a box around this part like this, you just make all the artwork like that, right? So this is like most of the explanations and drawings, like but what if you're a person so the request that I'm getting, and which is actually a very, very good request that I honestly got. What if you're a person who's been drawing for some time and just wants to refresh themselves in the 1, 2 point, and 3 point perspective, but you're not really someone who's done this before, right? What do you do then? So you already know this stuff, and you'll be like, yeah, I already know this stuff. Making boxes, it's the same thing. I've done it before. It's not really going to help me. What do you do then? So at that time, you should be actually spending time, instead of making boxes, just trying to make something using those perspectives. And you'll be like, oh, isn't that the same as drawing? It is. Everything is the same as drawing. But the point here is that you are actually going to, like, say, I don't know, like in this case, maybe I could draw like a wheel, which is like, I don't know, which is like a car tire or something. It could be anything, right? It could be anything. And you should be spending time like drawing these and applying the perspective to that. This is how you'll be able to improve in fundamentals. You're gonna get it wrong the first time, and it's completely valid. You shouldn't be getting it right? It's completely okay to get it wrong the first time. But it's better to get it wrong and then realize, okay, what the mistakes you made, and then try to correct it in the future. So like, yeah, this is basically something I'm drawing real quick, and this is a combination of 3 point perspective that I'm using, and I'm just creating the whatever the drawing is that I wanted to draw, right? So there you go. This is the kind of practice you want to do and learn how to apply your perspective knowledge that you already have, and just draw around this. You can do the same thing on anatomy, which is the next thing I'm going to show, right? So like I got this, yay, look at this. I made the whatever the tire of the vehicle, whichever vehicle it may be. It looks like a monster truck vehicle kind of thing. So yeah, made that, and you got your reference. I mean, not reference. You got your drawing. I'm not using reference. I would encourage using reference, but sometimes you're gonna be lazy and you're gonna be like, I'm just doing it for practice. I'm not really using reference. In this case, your reference is your visual library, whatever you've learned in the past, whatever you've drawn in the past. You're just trying to recollect that. It's also a good exercise for your memory. It's gonna help you. It's gonna help you remember things and then try to draw them from your imagination and all that stuff. So it works in a lot of ways. Like, it helps you practice in various aspects, to be honest. So you got this, and then right now I was gonna say I'm gonna draw anatomy. Now, what if you wanted to take this perspective drawings that you've been learning all this while, and at the same time you're whatever process you use for creating your anatomy, you want to create that as well, right? Like, I think there's one, the famous one is like the ones in which you're just making it out of boxes. So like I'm gonna make a perspective grid, like a very rough perspective grid. Too crazy. Okay. There you go. Top down thing. Right, there you go. So rough perspective grid created, and I'm gonna draw a person, right? Or I'm gonna draw the gesture of the person, and this is basically how I would do it, right? I'm just following perspectives, doing it really roughly. Don't have to do it fast. I'm doing it fast because I just remember how to do it, so it's fine. But if you're new, you don't have to do it fast, right? Just super rough, right? I got my points here, maybe change the hip. I have that attitude, like, okay, what if the shoulder direction is, going in this, the hip is kind of like this, so that both the points meet at some point here, imaginary point there, whatever, right? So you got this, got this. Then at the same time, I'm drawing the shoulders, making the rest of the arm, the wrist, right? And this is the box method. I don't know what it's called because I'm not an academic student. I'm a self-taught artist, so I don't know all the words. Sometimes I Google them and I remember and I'm like, yeah, those are the words, but a lot of times I forget. So this is the box method, right? And you got like your drawing, and you can then draw over it, create the head, create the torso, create the shoulders, smoothen things out, maybe this is the worst of this. Don't worry about making mistakes. You can always draw over it, clean it, whatever you want to do. If it's digital, you can erase it. It's completely okay. If you're doing traditionally, then you'll probably be drawing it light in the start, so you can always draw over the lines. You don't have to use an eraser. You don't really need it unless until you really want to erase something. But yeah, in this case, I'm not using an eraser at all. Like, even I'm not using the digital erase tool as well. I'm just drawing it like over the top. I don't really care. So you got this method, and at the same time, I'll show you one more example, right? Like, this is really quick. I'm not using references at all. I'm just pulling stuff out from my imagination. It's not an art advice. Don't ever do this. Use references as much as you can because it's going to help you study. It's going to help you improve in art, and it's probably going to help you do just get better overall. once you have like a decent visual library built, that's when you can do what I'm doing, like just pulling stuff, just remembering from your imagination, and just coming out with things. Like here's another example, right? I'm using the same perspective grids, right, and I'm coming up with another probably angle of the thing. Maybe I could give it a pose as well in this case, right? So say for example, I want to give it a maybe a crouched bent over pose or something. So like the shape of that box is going to change, right? This is the box method thing. I don't remember what it's called. Once again, I really don't remember what it's called. But yeah. So you got this. Probably this. So it's like this person's probably crouching over or something. I don't know. Probably got this. So this is where the knee is. And this is where the leg is. Right. The other leg probably is like this. Normally you don't crouch like this. So now I'm realizing, oh, I made a mistake there. So this is where I'll actually use an eraser, and I'll probably change a certain aspect of it. When you're crouching like that, you're normally bent a little forward instead. So like this is my memory of the anatomy dictating my cause. So yeah, this is a really quick way of getting good at what you do. I'm doing it roughly. I'm not using references. I'm gonna keep repeating that like a broken record, but I'm doing it roughly so that I can just get my ideas out. That'll be the third exercise, but like I'll get to that after I finish the second version of the anatomy thing. Okay, so this is one more method, right? And then the other, if you're an artist who doesn't use box method, uses like some other techniques, like there are those artists who use those I don't know, those guidelines to draw. Say for example, just taking this, probably drawing a character that is going to do some kind of a crazy ballerina pose or something. And these artists are like they use this I don't know what this line is called, like it's like that guideline that like animators use a lot, right? And then like hand it like this. This is a very rough idea. Probably this hand is like this, maybe higher. And then something like this. I don't know if they do this exactly, or I think it's this way. And the poses, yeah, it's something like that. And then you got this, which is the leg. Then you got the other leg, which I think will be something like this. I don't know. I'm doing some weird pose thingy. So yeah, bear with me on that. So you got this, and then you'll just be like, okay, maybe I can like clean it up, erase the lines and clean it up. Like this is a good way of doing anatomy. You could either like create a new layer, or you could clean up on on your drawing itself. Either way works. Both ways are possible. Like I'm just doing cleanup right now. Honestly, I would use a combination of both in my case. Sometimes I'd do the cleanup and then I would be like, oh, okay, to make the final finished line work, I would probably use another layer. Right, you got this. Right, it's the cleanup is where you'll be like setting the the ratio of the size correct. Now, this is where it's emphasized that you use your references regardless, because there are small mistakes that you would make when you don't use references. Like for example, this leg, the ratio and the portion of this leg is not really correct. Like I can clearly tell that there's an issue here, And if I use the right reference of how exactly the pose is, then I'll probably get these right? So yeah, you want to use references in this case. But anyways, this is for demonstration, so I'm not doing any of that. How could you not use references when you're telling me not to use, when you're telling me to use it, right? It's called being stupid. Anyways, so you got this. This is one of the ways, and then maybe another example, a close-up one or something. The goal is that I'm actually trying to demonstrate like how I'm using perspective grids so freely to do whatever I want. That's the goal, actually, more than the drawing itself. Right? I got the character's face, the nose, or whatever this is. Got this back. And you could go very dynamic with these kind of things. So yeah, this was the second way of like getting fundamentals, like brushing up your fundamentals kind of thing. But most of the time, the artists who do these kind of things, they've been drawing for a long, long time. So if you're like a total beginner, don't do that. Don't do this. Just learn how to do it, but don't do it like, oh, I'm gonna do it without references. Well, please use references and do this. Right. So there you go. So this is how you do it. Like, this is a good basic understanding. Like, I've created like 2-3 poses like this. Now, the third part I was gonna do was what was I gonna do? Perspective, line work, anatomy. I'm not doing lighting, that's part of painting. I mean, I could do sketching. What else we got in your basic brush up? We got. I don't remember. I mean, yeah, reference board. You have a mood board. You're gonna be using that, and that is basically how you're making things. Remember. So, always carry a sketchbook, or a digital sketchbook, or an iPad. I don't care what you use. Always have one of those with you, especially if you're serious about, drawing things. Here, this is a good reference. I take reference of Bruce Lee. Very quick reference. And just gesture this. This is the third practice, especially for those who are working on creating characters and their various poses. Just learn to gesture these things and learn to sketch roughly. Don't have to worry about it being clean. Just learn to sketch. Right? And I'm not even worried. I'm like, oh yes, I'll just do it at like whatever pace I want to do it. Doesn't really matter. See, it's so much more easier to do it while I'm looking at a reference, rather than like trying to come up with the whole pose by yourself from your, willing it to existence. It's just easier to find a reference, or just go act it yourself in front of a mirror. Look a photo of yourself, and yeah, draw it. See, so much more easy. Why would you make your life difficult if things can be easy? To those who work as an artist full time, I know that sentence hits home. No comments in that one. Right? Look at this. This is like I don't have to worry about making it like willing poses out of existence from like nothingness or something. I just take existing poses, come up with more dynamicity or something. I don't know what do you want to call it, and just make that stuff. So yeah, spend your time practicing it this way, which is so much more easier, especially those artists who are coming back to like brush up their skills. This is like one of the most useful techniques to remember how you drew. Right. Oh, there's another thing, especially when you come with silhouettes like this. A lot of people just draw the silhouette as a silhouette, but I like to see it as a 3D, you know, like I still like to see it as 3D. So it's like, oh, it's a pair of pants, and there's a leg inside that pant. I mean, yeah, there's a leg inside each side of that pant. I mean, but like, yes. So how will the the cloth fold and wrap around that leg? So I like to see it that way. So I do this weird contour line shenanigans to while I'm making the pose. It just gives me a more dynamic feel to the drawing. Now notice that this part has a little bit of perspective going on. So we'll do that. It's got these. It's got his shoes. Right. Do this. Do this. Right. And then I'll just shade the whole thing to show that it is in darkness. There you go. See that? Oh, you could also the third thing is remember that there's something known as line weights. Line weights will give your drawing a little more lively feel. So you have thin lines, you have thick lines, how you're gonna do those lines. It's very, very important. Right. So the area around the shadow, you can make like thicker lines. And you can even break it up. It doesn't have to be a continuous line. And this part like this. I don't know what it's doing. So you got this, you got this, you got this. This work is done. Probably like add more shadow details here. And I'm pretty much done. See that? The pose is done with less efforts. And then you can always go in and clean it up. Or like make a new layer, reduce the opacity of the previous one, and then draw over to make the details. Most of the work will be done that way. If you're using pencil and paper to do this, you have a light box. That's amazing. If you don't have a light box, put like put it under like a glass table or something, put a torch below, and then trace over like as if like the paper below is the sketch and the paper above will be like the next layer where you're drawing over the details and stuff. Or you could use tracing paper, either one of the things. This is how you do it traditionally, just for the record. I've been dabbling in inking, personal inking, like just using brush pens and inks. So I've been doing a lot of tracing work of my own rough sketches and then adding detail to it over the tracing paper. And then transferring it into another paper. That's it. That's basically what I've been doing. So yeah, there you go. Look at this. Amazing drawing. Done. Amazing. Good job. I'm proud of you. So once you can do this, most of the work is kind of done that way. What else am I missing? Why are all the people who work with me, who used to work with me, are on this chat? Bro, hey, what's up? So, that work is done. That work is done. I'm forgetting what was the last thing I wanted to explain. I just want to explain that thing and then close the stream and get back to doing my work. What was the last thing I'm forgetting, and I forgot to write it down. That's my problem. Mistakes were made, folks. Mistakes were made. I have become a sad boy. Let me look at my reference stuff real quick to remind myself what was the last thing I was trying to draw. And explain. Quick tip. Building blocks. Building blocks. Square shape. Rough shape. Freehand. Oh yes. I remember. Okay. The last thing I was gonna explain was sketching from imagination. Imagination. And references. How to. Alright. What I was gonna explain was you basically have an idea in your head and you want to draw it down. But you are not sure what you're gonna do. You will probably collect a bunch of references and you're gonna use that. At the same time, you want to keep it original. And therein comes the dilemma of whether you want to use references or you don't want to use them. What to do then? Especially for, now this one is for beginner artists, it's not for pros, it's not for the people who are coming back to brush up their fundamentals, it's more just for beginners itself. Just remember that. So, what you want to do, what you really want to do, is, say for example, I want to draw a half dragon humanoid. Yeah, this is coming out of my head. I don't know from which corner of my brain this is being pulled out. Anyways, so I want to draw a half dragon humanoid who probably is like dressed up in like some traditional ornaments and clothing. Cause why not? Regardless of that. So what I'm going to do is take the easiest possible way to draw the dragon. Or at least the head. Alright, so it's easy to draw a dragon's head side view than it is to draw in front view. Trust me. You know, I know. Especially if you're a beginner. I'm telling you right now. So, I will draw the dragon's head in side view. And I'll be really rough and quick about it. At this point, I am not using a reference because I've done this before, but I would recommend using a reference regardless. Please, folks, please use references. Don't be me. Don't be that cheeky person who is not using references. Use references, no matter what. Anyways, so I'm drawing the dragon's head. And there you go. See that? It's just a gesture. It's not really the dragon's head with detail. It's more like, hey, look, I'm just drawing it and shading the area with so that I can create a sense of lights and shadows, right? And I want to draw ornaments on this guy, so probably he's wearing some kind of a traditional. I did say he's humanoid. Traditional. I don't know, garments, whatever they could be wearing, whatever dragonoid wears. I think it's probably got some kind of weird things going on here. Right. Probably draw this on a new layer. No, no, this is not what I want. There you go. What is this? Okay. There, I'll draw this shape, the rough shape. Right, probably, yeah, he still has a tail. Still has a tail. I always give my dragon's tail. Because dragon tails That was a very bad joke. Please ignore that shit. But yeah, I'm drawing like a dragon sage guy. That's basically what I am doing, and I will probably do all that sorts of things. It's got spikes. Spiky dragon with the tail. Probably Charmander from behind. It was Charmander all along, folks. It was Charmander all along. Yeah, it's got like legs. Dragon legs are like chicken legs. So we got a little bit. So I'm using all the stuff that I just explained about perspectives and drawing freehand from imagination, using your brain cells. Hopefully you got plenty, and you're using, you know, whatever your visual library reminds you of, and all that stuff together, you draw this. Okay? Okay. Remember, folks, it is what it is. So you got this. Okay, it's a very rough dragon. It's a very shitty dragon, to be honest. And I'm just correcting the overall poses of that thing. It's got this going on. We got some. I decided to shade this part. Do you know why I'm doing this shading part like this? It's because I don't want to draw details on the other leg. And it just looks cool after that, you know? That's how it is. Did my file just stop working? It did, and I had to reopen it. Okay, there you go. So, the tail is too high. Dragon tails, dragon tails. It used to be a cartoon. It used to be shown. I don't know why I remember dragon tails. But there used to be this old dragon in that who was Mexican. And I was like, what? I mean, not Mexican per se. I think it was just Hispanic. So we had a Hispanic dragon. So I was like, whoa, bro. That's cool. I love that shit. Anyways, so got that. Made the dragon spikes. Whatever the case. Oh, and then I'm drawing these traditional garments that this dragon has. Release the dragon. Okay, so you got this, you got this, you got this. So I'm just doing this for, like, this is where I'm just ideating. I'm not really focused on whether this dragon looks perfect or not, right? I mean, you will get better in drawing even the idea phases of things as your visual library improves and you just have knowledge of how things work, kind of thing. But like, if you're a beginner, your drawing is gonna suck ass, bro. I'm not even gonna lie. Shit. I'm cursing. YouTube's gonna demonetize me, but YouTube never paid me to begin with, so it's fine. So there you go. Dragon's gonna be like this. Right. Let's give him some more details. Make him look badass. Make him look like he means business. Probably selling his merchandise, and he is a dragon and a merchant tradesmith as occupation. He's not really the I will burn your village down kind of dragon in this case, you know? The I will burn down your village dragons are just, you know, there are those big things which fly and are practically naked. They don't wear clothes and all that. Just reptilian skin. That is them. But this is not that guy. This guy is civilized. He or they, whatever they may be, they go around town selling their merchandise. They sell their wares and then they make money out of it, and they've become they've started a trading business of their own. That's the kind of dragon this guy is. Does he breathe fire? Probably. He can still breathe fire, but yes, that's the kind of dragon this guy is. And you can do all these kind of, you know, line work in the art just to give like a sense of detail. You don't have to really give it the detail kind of thing. It's just like, oh yeah, it's got detail, but it's not really detail. You know? Those folks who are watching this video from Mayhem Studios, just remember this is what you're supposed to be doing, man. I know you're watching, but I'm not taking names. I hope you guys are doing well. But yes, this is basically what you want to do, my dudes. This is what you do. This is what you do. So, this was actually a request from someone named Void, a friend of mine. He asked me how to get back into fundamentals and brush up your fundamentals and all that, and that's the reason why I'm making this quick video. I'm too lazy to do video editing. I'll probably get myself a video editor in the future who's gonna help me out and all that shit. Till then, I will just mostly do live streams and record that stuff and then just let it stay in the live section of my YouTube channel. So those who are interested and do want to go through a lot of other things that I've already done in the past can go through that stuff. Hopefully it'll be helpful. For those who do wish to, you know, like recommend me or ask me or suggest me to make something on based on stuff that they want to learn, you're free to ask. I'm not a pro artist. I'm not some crazy god tier artist, to be honest. I just make artwork for games and movies and I don't know, comic books of late. And I have my own sticker collection. That's it. That's all I do. Because I just like doing all that stuff anyways. So yes, if you have something that you want me to showcase, teach. I am not a good teacher. These are the best ways I can teach, but like I cannot do one-on-one classes, so I'm never gonna do those. Yeah, so just leave a comment and let me know what you want. Otherwise, I'll just be doing the regular streams in the future of things I make and all that. That's pretty much it. This channel is more of a things I draw and things I make channel more than like how to do channels. So yeah, that's the goal. That's the goal. My dragon is done. Would you look at that? My dragon looks so badass. And I thank everyone who has come to watch, and I shall now go because this was supposed to be a short stream for a friend and my job is done now. So with all that said, thank you and goodbye.